welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. I'm Eloise Sohier, joined alongside Josh Morris. As always, Josh, great to see you. Disappointing result last night for the New South Wales Blues. Just firstly, I suppose your take, and especially on that send-off in the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, look, it certainly took the wind out of the game, didn't it? Yeah, it's a tough one because we've seen a number of fullbacks get hit in that same way, and they've been sent for 10 minutes in just regular competition games. To be sent off in a state of origin was a huge call, and it was always going to be tough for New South Wales to win that game from there on in. So the match review committee hit him with a grade 2, and he'll spend 4 weeks out. So they've come down hard on him, but yeah, it was just one of those things. Reece Walsh dropped. He was slipping, and Joseph had already committed to the tackle. It was obviously unfortunate what happened, but like I said, I've seen plenty of instances where fullbacks have been hit like that as well, and still managed to 10 in the bin, get back on the field. So not the Blues night, but there's still hope. I still always back my Blues boys, but we've got to do it the hard way now, winning in Melbourne and then a decider in Suncorp.
Yeah, game 2, just a couple of weeks away. No doubt Madge will make some changes, particularly around Joseph Suaalii, given that ban that he has caught. But let's focus on round 14, Josh, because there's still plenty of footy to focus on this weekend. We've got the Dragons, $1.39, taking on the Tigers, $2.94. Now, the West Tigers have lost each of their last 8 matches. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, no, it's not, but they've had a bye. They'll be fresh now. You would have liked to have think that they'd gone away and worked on a few things. They still are missing David Clemme, suspended, and Papali'i obviously injured with that ankle injury. Justin Olam comes back in, so he's a big boost for the side. You want him in there, that physical centre present. We've got Staines moving into the centres, Alex Lobb. 12 goes to prop, and Ruben Porter makes his debut for the Tigers. So a bit of a journeyman there in the reserve grade competition, but he finally gets a chance to play first grade. For the Dragons, you'd like to think that Ben Hunt and Jaden Sewell would come back in. Zach Lomax had a really good game, I thought, for the Blues. He was heavily involved, got himself a try. I'm not sure if he'll play. But for the Dragons, they'd be confident. They got the job done against Penrith out at Penrith with quite a young squad. So whatever Shane Flanagan said to them at halftime certainly worked, and they got the job done. And Tyrell Sloaney loves scoring. He scored a try in 7 of his last 8 appearances, so he could be on the score sheet there at Wynn Stadium. Look, I think the Dragons win this one. I think after their performance last week and the fact that the Tigers have so many senior players out, I can see the Dragons winning at home.
Yeah, certainly looking to build on last week's win indeed for the Dragons. Up next, you've got the Broncos, $1.50, Sharks, $2.56. Broncos, very short favourites here. Cronulla have won each of its last 5 interstate matches as an underdog, though.
Yes, they have. They're obviously resting Nico, though. I guess the concern around the Sharks is at the moment they're leaking way too many points. We've seen it against the Roosters and then Penrith and last week as well. So they're kind of in a rough patch at the moment. They need a victory, and this would be a big scalp. I just think that the Broncos, they'll be too good at home. Katoni Staggs comes back from his rib injury. You'd like to think that all the blokes that played last night will back up. And I think the Broncos win this one, and I think they might win at 13 plus. I think that those defensive woes for the Sharks will continue, and I think Dean Mariner will be a special for a try. He's certainly loves scoring at Suncorp, so we'll see how he goes.
There we go. They've got Broncos there, 13 plus. That could be a huge victory up there at Suncorp. Up next, we've got the Premiers, the Panthers, $1.34. The Seagulls, $3.20. What do you think about this market here, Josh?
Yeah, this was that's a lot of money for Manly, I think. Obviously, they're playing at Bluebet. The Panthers, they didn't look good at all against the Dragons. They really turned over cheap possession. But yeah, I think the Panther Stars will back up. Yo and Luai. It's a weird one with Edwards being named in the reserves. I don't think he will play. You wouldn't think he'd miss Origin and then play club footy. So Dane Laurie will still be at fullback. And the interesting thing for Manly is Lehigh Hopewadi keeps his spot at fullback there. Kohler goes to the centres until our moves to the wing. Look, Manly had the bye last week, but Penrith, they've won 15 of their past 16 after they've had a loss. So they don't like going back to back, and they don't want to go back to back at home either. So I'd
No.
imagine that the Panthers will be right up for this one. Ivan will have them humming, and I think they'll get the job done.
All right, up next, Josh, of course, we've got the Bulldogs, $2.08, Eels, $1.71. The Eels look like a completely different side last week with the return of Mitch Moses and Clint Gutherson. Do you like them there at $1.71?
Oh, look, they did look like a completely different side. It just goes to show how much they rely on Mitch Moses and his kicking game, his ability to put it into the corners, kick long, and then their forwards being
Mm.
able to muscle up in defence. But they've lost Bailey Simonson to an ACL injury. Blaze Talangi goes into the centres. Sean Russell goes back to the wing. You'd like to think for the Dogs they get Crichton and Burton back. But what about their performance last week at Newcastle? It was outstanding. They didn't have Crichton, they didn't have Kickout, they didn't have Burton. 32-2 against the Knights. They did everything well, the Doggies, and they would be very, very confident about trying to get the job done here. For Para, they've lost their last 5 away matches, but they are 8 versus 9 versus the Dogs, so they do have the wood over them. Look, it's a flip of the coin here. I really
Mm.
liked what the Eels did against the Sharks, but I just like what the Doggies are doing at the moment. So I've gone for the underdog in this one. I really like the Doggies, and this is going to be a great clash on that Monday. So we'll see some good footy being played at the day there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great one for the long weekend. And certainly the Dogs are full of confidence at the moment. Just quickly to round it all off, I'll get your quick tips for the remaining games. We've got the Titans and the Rabbitohs.
I've gone the Titans in this one. I like what they're doing. They've been close in their footy over the past 6 weeks. They had a good win over the Broncos. So yeah, I've gone the Titans. I just like the way they're playing at the moment.
Cowboys hosting the Warriors.
Yeah, I've got the Warriors in this one. The Warriors have had some massive ins. Kurt Capewell's back in, Adam Fanua-Blake's back in. I think they welcome back Tohu Harris. So, and then we've got all the Cowboys boys backing up as well. So they might be a bit jaded. So I've got the Warriors there.
And just lastly, Storm taking on the Knights.
Yeah, well, you can't back the Knights after their last performance. The Storm down at Amy Park, they're very hard to beat down there. So I've gone with the Storm.
Too strong at home. Josh Morris, thanks so much for your time as always. We'll chat next week. And of course, an Origin preview for game 2 in a couple of weeks as well.
Thanks, Eloise.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.